Now we're going to jump into one of the most important parts of the successful drumming package, and that is the note value section. This is where we're going to start off by just going through how to read drum notation, but then basically go through all the different note values, how to count them, and then we're going to go through all the different rest values, and how to count those and discuss how they look, and we're going to complete all that stuff. It's very, very important that you go through this section and you understand everything before actually moving on. Okay, so let's first start out by just going through how to read basic drum notation. So take a look at your drum notation sheet. On the first section there, you'll see the snare drum, and that snare drum is located just 2 lines down in between the lines. Okay, it's not on the line, and that's when you will play the snare drum. The next thing over is the hi-hat, and the hi-hat is indicated by an X on top of the bar, and that sounds like this. After that, we have a hi-hat open. So when you open the hi-hat, you just like lift it up a tiny little bit and then hit it like this. Next up, we have the ride cymbal, and the ride cymbal is located a line above the staff, again with an X, and there's a little line through that indicating that it is above the staff. And that is this thing over here. It sounds like this. And then we have the 3 toms. The high tom is located right in between the top 2 lines, the mid tom, which is located on the line, right below the high tom, and then we have the low tom, which is located 2 sections above the bottom of the staff. And these sound like this. Next up, we have the bass drum, which is in the bottom space on the staff, and that sounds like this. Okay, so now look one more line down, and you'll see we have the hi-hat foot and the alternate bass drum. So the hi-hat foot is indicated with an X. It's right on the bottom of the staff. That's just like this. And the next line over, we have the alternate bass drum, which is located 1 line below the staff, and that is, again, a circle with a line through it indicating it's 1 line below the staff. Then we have a cross stick, and the cross stick is just done on the side of the snare drum like this. After that, we have a ghost note. Now, we're going to talk more about these types of things later, but I just want to let you guys know what they are now. So a ghost note is basically a very, very quiet snare stroke. After that, we have a ride cymbal bell, which is just the bell of the ride. Then we have a crash cymbal, which is 1 line above the ride. On the same line, we have another crash cymbal with brackets around it, or parentheses, and that's called a crash cymbal choke. And to do that, you hit the cymbal and then grab it with your hand. Also, we're going to talk more about that later. And finally, we have a cowbell, and there's not much cowbell in here, but it's usually indicated on the top line of the staff, and it's a little kind of diamond shape. So what you need to do is you just need to memorize these, so later on when we're going through the rest of the material and you see something that you don't really recognize, you can come back here and see what it is you're supposed to play. Okay, so it's important, just take 5-10 minutes, go through this and just really analyze it, and then move on to how to count quarter notes.